So today I received 3 fragrances, 2 samples and 1 full bottle. I tested one of the samples and I tested the full bottle. And I have to say, I am so glad I'm buying samples now and not just blind buying full bottles, because the sample that I got and tested, I'm really hesitant to say which one, or even the house, because I don't want to negatively, I don't want to bash any perfumers or perfume houses. But what I've been noticing since I haven't been blind buying bottles, but have been buying just samples, is that I am disappointed way more than 50% of the time. Disappointed. And this one really disappointed me because the full bottle is $400. It's I don't think it's niche. I think it's a designer house, but they've got a really good reputation, and I've never seen one negative review on this fragrance. Everyone that spoke about this fragrance on YouTube that I've seen has said only positive, glowing things about it, and I believe them. I've never had, I'm trying to be wiser when it comes to influencers and being skeptical that potentially they got a discount, potentially got a free bottle. Maybe that's influencing them to say something positive, but I think I have high standards. I think that's one aspect of this. A lot of these fragrances smell a lot alike. A lot alike. Now, I'll admit my fragrance collection, although it's large, I haven't counted how many bottles. Maybe one day I'll show you what all I have. A lot of them are vintage, ones that you've heard, very, historically important, vintage fragrances. And so I can't really compare these to those because it's a totally different style. And I haven't invested a lot in niche. I've invested a little in niche, but it's really expensive even to get the samples for niche fragrances. So I will admit to my limited experience there. I did say I was blown away by Cape Heartache by Imaginary Authors. I was blown away by it. And as I've mentioned in some of my other videos, I am a self-taught perfumer. I'm working on teaching myself to create fragrances, hopefully to sell, if it's possible. It's really hard to get decent bottles, I'll tell you that. It's really hard to get decent bottles that don't seem cheap, and you have to invest in a company to make a mold for you, and there's a very high minimum quotient that you have to buy in order to get that done. It's very expensive. I think it's a minimum of $10,000, but I haven't even priced it. It's that high. So AliExpress, Alibaba, those are places that are always mentioned in my perfume making groups for other perfumers that are independent, perfumers, things like that they recommend, but I haven't interacted with those, customer service people there. Even they sometimes have a minimum amount of bottles. You have to buy a minimum of 500, minimum of 1,000, minimum of 3,000 bottles. And I'm not sure if I want to invest in one bottle. That's not even molded for you. That's what you see. Maybe you can get some samples sent to you. I found a bottle I really like. I like the way it looks. I don't like the way the cap feels in the hand. It's not magnetic either. But I do like the style, and I've been able to settle on it. It's a screw on top. So it's not the kind that crimps and permanently seals. So there's some risks involved when you do it that way. But those are reasonably priced. I can get those. What I'm trying to say is that I have been disappointed, and today is when I picked up the fragrances that I just mentioned and the $400 fragrance that I got as a sample. I am so disappointed by it. There's complexity, especially in the mid and dry down, but it's not unique. Unless you really pay a lot of attention to it. Like, most people aren't going to notice that it's a high quality fragrance. What I'm making is higher quality than that, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. What I've already made is, and mine isn't even ready to be made in large enough batches and produced and like marketed potentially and sold. I feel like fragrances is also a bubble. I think it's a bubble. I think a lot of people blind buy. I think a lot of people are heavily influenced by others and by the bottle design, by the labeling, by the marketing. I think most of the money that you spend on your fragrances is definitely going into marketing and presentation, but mostly marketing. It's like, wow. Like it makes me not even sure if it's like ethical for me to try to sell my fragrances, because I don't want to try to convince people to buy my stuff if it's not going to be different, unique, filling like a vacancy. I don't want to sell stuff that's like everything else. Okay, I don't mind making something that's a little bit more tailored than, for instance, my fragrance I'm creating is similar in like the concept, like it's similar in a lot of ways to Cape Heartache, because there's a forest element, there's a strawberry element. I still think mine is different, but as far as like what I've sampled out there with strawberry involved, that's the closest I've come. So Cape Heartache by Imaginary Authors is the closest to what I'm creating right now. And I'm glad I have a sample of it, because it's like a 10 milliliter. It's like it's more than a sample, but it's not a full bottle. I was blown away by that fragrance. I made a video of that reaction on TikTok, and I'm glad I saw that, because otherwise I would be so negative right now. I would actually almost be despondently negative. So I've been buying these fragrances, especially the strawberry fragrances. I've been buying the ones that I have found have been the most like known, I guess, the most marketed, known strawberry fragrances, to find what's out there for A, inspiration, B, see what vacancy I can help fill, because I don't want to produce something that's already been produced. The main vacancy is realistic strawberry, juicy, realistic, tart, potentially green, like something in nature, like potentially the context being different and like unique, more realistic, more inspiring, more inspirational, not childish. I don't mind if it brings childhood memories, okay? Strawberries are like happy and summery and things like that. I don't mind that, but I want it to be realistic. I don't want it to be candy-like, okay? That's the main complaint that I've noticed about strawberry fragrances. So, you know, I've bought Fleur, strawberry letter by Fleur. Let's see, I bought something by Sucre Bay, which I think has been discontinued. Strawberry Bliss, I think that one was. There's one by Source, SORCE. That's short for a longer name. That's like a more independent, you know, like, so I've tried to purchase as many strawberry fragrances as I can. I have Marc Jacobs. There's a strawberry one by Marc Jacobs as well. I haven't bought a lot of like Guerlain, for instance. That's one limitation I have, is like I haven't bought a lot of Guerlain fragrances. So I haven't spent a ton of money per bottle, but you know, so within my means, like I've been trying to buy all the strawberry fragrances that are out there that are notable. If you have any to suggest to me to try out, let me know. And it's for my research, okay? So like my goal for my perfume making is to like learn. It's like a journey for me. It's not my main source of income. And I don't know if I ever really would want it to be my main source of income, because I feel like I'm gifted in a different area. that I've been formally educated in, but I want to like bring something to people. I want to bring something to your life. And if you choose to buy my fragrance, I want you to be educated about it first before you buy it. So like for instance, the forest and my strawberry fragrance, I want that forest to be different than Cape Heartache. That's why like I was excited. I was so excited to smell Cape Heartache because it was intriguing. It was intriguing for me. And the forest is very, very prominent in that fragrance. The strawberry just kind of pulls everything together. So you can't really like feel the strawberry as much as what I would like you to be able to smell in my main strawberry fragrance. I'm going to probably release a few different ones because there's probably like some I might want to have the forest be more prominent, but I want to have the strawberry be like, if you want a strawberry fragrance and you want it to be realistic, tart, maybe green, you know, maybe weedy, maybe like seedy, maybe like juicy, sweet tart, you know, like trigger the like smile reflex. I want you to be not disappointed in that. So like that's what I'm working on with my strawberry fragrance, my main strawberry accord for the fragrance, which is a challenge. Like if you've heard before, if you're into strawberry fragrances, if you're into fruit fragrances, you may have heard people say it's really hard to create fruit notes in fragrances, fruit accords, because you can't really get it from nature. It's hard to get it from nature. You have to construct it. You have to like bring it about. And that requires a lot more complexity. Okay. So even these professionally taught perfumers that go to school for it in France still struggle with it. And they come up with things like, not to badmouth it, but like Fleur, strawberry letter. It's got complaints about it just being too candy-like, being too innocent, or like not just innocent, there's nothing wrong with innocent, but like being too remedial, or just not having enough realism. Okay, so this accord that I am working with, to put a context with it, this accord is bringing me back to childhood memories of when on the farm that I was growing up on, we had strawberries that we were like processing and making into food, and we were like, I was eating them straight from the garden, and the wild strawberries in the forest. Those are the strawberries of my inspiration. That's what the accord by itself smells like. So if I sell my fragrances, I don't want to be convincing you that it's good. I want you to feel like it's good. I want you to be satisfied that it's good. This is not like a scheme on my behalf. That's why I really don't want to do a lot of marketing, but I also know that the imagination is important. And so that's why the bottles and the labels and the artwork are important. That's why the story that I give you is important. That's why I'm a writer. Like the writing behind it is important. The inspiration is important, not because I'm trying to scheme you into like spending a bunch of money, but because I want it to be for real. Like I want it to be something that you can't find easily somewhere else. Thanks for watching my video. I'm trying to make more videos. I'm trying to be more comfortable with sharing, and we'll see how this goes. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time.